Welcome to Friday Morning Dharma on May 29th. Thank you for being here. Let's begin by settling into a comfortable meditation posture. Please take care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. As you start to settle in for meditation, please take as your one-word mantra, release. As in release any expectations you may have, release any tension, anything that might otherwise distract you from giving yourself the gift of meditation. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or recreated. Nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is unknown to us at this time. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself full permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind, thus creating the causes for you to experience a peaceful world. And as a preliminary to our meditation, I would invite you to bring your awareness to your breath, to the exhalation of your breath in particular, and very gently, please allow your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. This meditation technique will allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and to rest, to become quiet and still. There is an aspect of the body that is referred to sometimes as the inner body. Some schools of meditation refer to it as the subtle body. And by coming into contact with your inner body, you can make manifest a more supple, tranquil state of awareness. So to accomplish this, I'd like you to please draw your awareness inside of your body and become aware of sensations. These sensations may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more tranquil, awakened state of awareness to emerge. The natural tendency of these sensations is for them to travel up into your arms and your legs, perhaps into the region of your chest, perhaps into your face and your cheeks. To inform your meditation, you may find it beneficial to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. Day after day, year after year, century after century, the mountain simply observes silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow. The sun may shine. A small sapling may grow into a giant tree, become uprooted, and then fall to the ground. The mountain simply observes silently. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no expectation. Be like a mountain as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you are occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you are occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of limitless space beyond the blue sky. And you can know that you are not these phenomena, nor are you separate from these phenomena. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception soon come to enjoy a state of complete, perfect fearlessness. May all beings without exception enjoy inner and outer freedom. May we enjoy inner and outer peace. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome back. So, those of you who are regulars to these Monday, Friday classes know that we have gotten into a routine of conjoining meditation on the inner body with kind of another object of meditation, usually the topic of our Lam Rim discussion. We conjoin like resting with, in this case, it would be renunciation, kind of where we are in the Lam Rims, while meditating on the inner body. This morning was just not just, it was a straight inner body meditation. In yesterday's Lam Rim meditation that's recorded and on our YouTube channel, um, we did do that. We conjoined meditation on the inner body with renunciation. So if you want to get an experience of that, please go to the YouTube channel and check it out. So continuing, speaking of renunciation, let's continue our discussion of renunciation. Renunciation being in Jeff speak, I'm done with this. I'm done with whatever it is. In the case of our Buddhist discussion, what we're talking about, I am done with samsara. I'm renouncing samsara. Um, or it could be related. I am done with rebirth. I'm done with taking uncontrolled rebirth. Um, Perhaps even more accessible is I'm done with suffering. I'm done with being tormented by my mind by misperceiving the world around me, thinking that people and situations are the source of my problems, right? When the real problem is actually the way that I'm relating to people in external situations. Or kind of the other side of the coin is I'm done chasing after things that I think are going to make me happy, right? If I can just get close enough to and possess and control this person or this situation or this inanimate object, then I'll be happy. These confused modes of existence um, are big parts of what we call samsara, all of the appearances and conceptions of a deluded mind. And samsara is this experience that we're having, this like dream-like, nightmare-like experience that we're having. And really, for those of you who have attended, some of our classes, is we've only had a couple on what samsara is and the renunciation of samsara. It would be understandable if we were confused into thinking, oh, I get it about samsara, aging, sickness, death. These things really suck. Aging sucks. And I won't go into the gory details of what the sufferings of aging are. I think most of the people on this call already know. Aging sucks. That might be true, but what teachings on samsara are, no, it's the mind that experiences pain from suffering that sucks. That's what we're renouncing. So, I want to read an excerpt that just ties in perfectly with what we have been talking about um, with regard to samsara and renunciation. This is from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And my teacher, who was a Tibetan, he left his body a few years ago. He would be frowning on my reading from the Tibetan Book of the Dead because um, thinks it's not productive or thought it was not productive. He didn't like the term Tibetan Buddhism. He didn't like the word Tibetan Book of the Dead. He said, because, yeah, a lot of these teachings have their roots in the country of Tibet, but calling it Tibetan Buddhism means it's for Tibetans, but it's actually for everyone. It's for everyone. So the translation that I'm reading from kind of does refer to over and over the Tibetans do this, the Tibetans do this. This is the Tibetans' view of situations. Just try to kind of neutralize that term and just kind of just look at it as a view or a practice independent of the country that the text might be pointing to. Yeah. It'd be like, we're practicing American Buddhism here. It's like, well, it just doesn't feel quite right, does it? Anyways, enough of that. Human life is characterized as being midway between states of excessive pain and states of excessive pleasure. A being assumes human rebirth from life in other forms. That is, they were another form, an animal or an insect or something, hungry ghost, so on. A being assumes human rebirth from life in other forms by accumulating a vast amount of merit through actions of giving, moral discipline, and tolerating, i.e., patience, patient acceptance, and an equally vast amount of intelligence through long efforts of developing critical wisdom and penetrating concentration. The human form is relatively free of rigidly programmed instinctual reactions. Thus, human beings, this is really a key line. Let this burn into your consciousness, please, or steep into your consciousness. How about that? The, thus, human beings are uniquely endowed with the ability and opportunity to understand fully their situation, reprogram themselves completely positively, attain the unexcelled perfect enlightenment of Buddhahood, and become boundlessly happy, alive, radiant, and helpful to other beings. Sounds pretty good, that outcome works for me. Um, and just to kind of underscore that point, it has been said many times by teachers of mine that it is easier for us to attain enlightenment in this life, in this human form that we have. It's easier for us to attain a full awakening in this lifetime than it is for a being in a lower realm, to attain a human rebirth. Yeah. And if you think about that, just earlier this morning, a little beetle was in the movement room, right? Kind of scurrying across the floor, doing his beetle thing or her beetle thing. Um, how does a beetle accumulate merit in order to take a human rebirth, the merit that's required to take a fortunate human rebirth, right? Yeah, a beetle's existence, I don't know the consciousness of a beetle, so I'm kind of speculating, but a beetle's life probably consists of eat, keep from being eaten, and procreate. Right? And get away from this huge monster who's looking at me and turning on lights. Yeah. This alien monster, giant being who, yeah, how does a beetle accumulate merit and purify negativity and do all the things that are required to take a human rebirth? I mean, maybe somehow, fortunately, he like crawls across the Dharma text. Maybe he sees a picture of one of the saints in the movement room. I don't know, but like, let's just say all this to say we have an amazing, amazing, it's like what, 1 in 1 billion, 1 in 1 trillion, 1 in 1,000 trillion opportunities here with this human life to get off the wheel of karma and renounce no more, no more births as a beetle, no more births as, an animal or as a hungry ghost. I'm done with this. Okay. To die unenlightened and lose the liberty and opportunity of human embodiment before attaining enlightenment, and then to be reborn involuntarily in extremely miserable conditions, innumerable further times, this would be the ultimate tragedy. Once human life is understood as providing the liberty and opportunity for evolutionary freedom and altruistic enlightenment, like not just human existence, but opportunity to do good, to lead an altruistic life. We've got that freedom here right now. It's just miraculous beyond words. An opportunity for evolutionary freedom and altruistic enlightenment. Its loss is far worse than the loss of life assumed to be either sheer obliteration into nothingness, which is a view some people have. When this body ends, consciousness ends, and that's it. There's nothingness. Worth examining. Is there such thing as nothingness? Or secure passage to heaven? Are we doing? Oh my gosh. It's something like expecting loss of life to result in a passage into hell or purgatory. This is a danger that is more than fatal. It's a doorway to nearly limitless torment. Thus, the Tibetan sense of the beginningless and boundless nature of life, of beings as endlessly reborn, does not palliate the fear of death at all. Tell me again what the word palliate means. I looked it up. To make things better. Yeah, right. Like palliative care. You guys all knew that, I'm sure. Um, does not palliate the fear of death at all. It lends an intensity to this life that is quite compelling. It is what really underlies the strong religiosity, the religiousness, and spirituality of the Tibetans, which does not come from their environment of highland wastes and snowy mountains, i.e., the topography of Tibet. All right, bear with me, you guys, just one more relatively short paragraph. On the more spiritual level, however, Tibetans have learned to view the ordinary fearsome death as a strong force close to life, a powerful impulse to the good, an intensifier of positive attitudes and actions. They tend not to get caught in the reification of death as a pure force of evil, right? There's kind of a different way of looking at death. Bad, bad. Let's not talk about it. Let's not think about it. No, death, not separate from life. It's like a component of life, you know? They tend not to get caught in the reification of death as a force of pure evil, some sort of radical insensate, should look that one up, arbitrary malevolence. They rather learn to see it as non-existent, as a thing in itself apart from life, not separate from life. This sense of relationality of even death encourages them to view death on the highest level as the immediate, omnipresent realm of freedom, not merely part of life, but the ground of life. So, the point of my reading this excerpt from the Tibetan Book of the Dead is to really the most important point is for us to recognize this remarkable opportunity that we have when in this human form. The very first Lamrim that we talked about, if you'll remember, this precious human life, and use this precious human life to practice the path of renunciation, to accomplish the path of renunciation. I'm done. I'm done with rebirth. I'm done with karma, being totally and utterly helpless to karma. I want to get up, transcend the wheel of karma altogether. I want to get up and out of samsara altogether. I'm going to do whatever it takes because I'm done. I'm done with samsara. I'm done with uncontrolled rebirth. I'm done with suffering. I'm done with suffering. This is renunciation. And I think with that, we'll get into the great scope on Monday's class. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. Did you have something, Don?
So there's only one thing in the intermediate scope?
Yeah, renunciation.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, it's deep, they're deep, deep waters. There are a lot of aspects that we can take, but
Sure.
the immediate scope is liberation from suffering by getting up and out of samsara. And that comes through renouncing samsara. Is that clear? Okay, because we can talk about it more if we need to, but not clear.
I just expected there to be numerous chapters like there was in the initial scope,
Yeah,
you know, of, oh, there's this and this and this and this.
it's a great question. There's
Yeah.
kind of one teaching and it's vast and very important. I'll look through the joyful path of good fortune and make sure I'm not leaving out some important components. Okay. All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Jeff.
You're welcome.
Have a good weekend.
Same to you. You.